Shattered mirrors of the mind. This phrase evokes a powerful image of fractured reflections within one's thoughts. It suggests a fragmented state of consciousness, where perceptions and ideas are broken and scattered like pieces of a shattered mirror. Zoe's reality begins to fracture. She's thrust into a world where nothing is as it seems. As Zoe unravels a sinister conspiracy, she faces a terrifying possibility. Her very identity may be built on lies. Will she emerge from this psychological maze as herself, or will she become someone, or something, entirely new? Shattered mirrors of the mind. This poetic phrase evokes imagery of fragmented thoughts and broken reflections within one's consciousness. It suggests a state of mental disarray or a fractured perception of reality. Zoe's reality begins to fracture. She finds herself thrust into a world where nothing is as it seems. As Zoe unravels a sinister conspiracy, she faces a terrifying possibility. Her very identity may be built on lies. Will she emerge from this psychological maze as herself, or will she become someone, or something, entirely new? Shattered mirrors of the mind. This poetic phrase evokes images of fragmented reflections within our thoughts. It suggests a complex interplay between perception, self-image, and consciousness, hinting at the multifaceted nature of human cognition. Zoe's reality begins to fracture. She's thrust into a world where nothing is as it seems. As Zoe unravels a sinister conspiracy, she faces a terrifying possibility. Her very identity may be built on lies. Will she emerge from this psychological maze as herself, or will she become someone, or something, entirely new? The MIT Neuroscience Lab buzzed with anticipation. Researchers and students filed into the auditorium. At the center of it all stood Zoe Chen. Her dark eyes scanned the room. She displayed a mixture of confidence and hidden nerves.
All right, everyone, let's settle down. Dr. Chen, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Thorne. Good afternoon, colleagues. Today I'm excited to present my latest findings. These findings are about the neural correlates of consciousness. Our research explores how brain activity relates to our conscious experiences.
Zoe's voice was steady. It hid the anxiety swirling in her stomach. She clicked to advance her presentation. The first slide appeared. It displayed a complex diagram showing neural pathways.
We're looking at a revolutionary model of how our brains create conscious experience. This model maps the interplay between the thalamus and the cortex. We've identified a unique rhythmic brain activity in this interaction. This specific neural rhythm may be the key to unlocking the mystery of self-awareness.
Zoe went further into her presentation. The audience leaned forward, captivated. Dr. Thorne was known for his skepticism. Even he nodded approvingly. This reaction showed the strength of Zoe's arguments and delivery.
Zoe, this is incredible. Have you considered its application? I'm curious about how it might relate to altered states of consciousness.
Excellent question, Maya. In fact, our model suggests that...
Suddenly, Zoe's voice trailed off. A wave of dizziness washed over her. For a split second, the world seemed to tilt. The abrupt sensation left her feeling disoriented and unsteady.
Dr. Chen, are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Just a momentary lapse. Where was I?
Zoe blinked hard, forcing herself to focus. The room came back into clear view. However, a lingering unease remained.
Let's talk about altered states of consciousness. Our research model indicates something interesting about these states. They might be the result of temporary disruptions. These disruptions occur in the rhythmic brain patterns we've identified. Our findings suggest that changes in these neural rhythms may lead to altered consciousness.
Zoe continued her presentation, pushing an unsettling moment to the back of her mind. She attributed the feeling to stress and lack of sleep. Little did she know, this was just the beginning. It was the first tremor of a major change about to transform her world.
Excellent work, Dr. Chen. Your insights continue to push the boundaries of our field.
Thank you, Dr. Thorne. I couldn't have done it without the support of this department.
The audience filed out of the room. Zoe began gathering her materials. Her hands were trembling slightly as she worked.
Hey, Zoe, that was amazing. Want to grab coffee and discuss it further?
Thanks, Maya, but I should really get back to the lab. There's still so much work to do.
Maya's face fell slightly. She nodded in understanding. Zoe felt a feeling of guilt. She had pushed her friend away. The familiar comfort of solitude called to her.
Maybe another time?
Sure, no problem. Take care of yourself, okay?
Zoe left the auditorium. The bright hallway lights blinked eerily. For a moment, she couldn't remember the way to her lab. Panic rose in her throat. Then, her memory suddenly returned.
Get it together, Zoe. It's just stress. Nothing a good night's sleep won't fix.
Zoe made her way through the twisting hallways of the Brain Research Center. As she walked, a nagging feeling persisted. Something felt off, creating a disturbance in her typically peaceful thoughts. She squared her shoulders and pressed forward, unaware of the danger ahead. With each step, Zoe was walking deeper into a complex maze. It was a labyrinth from which she might never find her way out. Zoe's eyes slowly opened. Harsh morning light filtered through her blinds. Something felt odd. She sat up slowly. Her eyes scanned her apartment.
What the?
Her voice trailed off as she noticed subtle changes. Her bookshelf, usually neatly arranged, now had volumes out of place. Her favorite mug sat on the coffee table instead of in the kitchen. A jacket she didn't recognize hung on the back of a chair. These small details caught her attention, hinting at an unexplained disturbance in her familiar surroundings.
Did I do this last night? I don't remember.
A chill ran down Zoe's spine. She struggled to recall the previous evening. Her mind felt foggy and disjointed. The familiar confines of her apartment suddenly seemed alien. Her surroundings now felt threatening. Zoe flinched at the sudden noise. Her heart was racing with surprise. She reached for her phone quickly. Her parents' names appeared on the caller ID. Zoe took a deep breath to calm herself. She then answered the incoming video call.
Hey, Mom. Dad?
Zoe, dear. You look tired. Are you taking care of yourself?
Her mother's face filled the screen. Concern was visible in the wrinkles around her eyes. But there was something else apparent too. A distance and coolness had always existed between them.
I'm fine. Just busy with research. You know how it is.
Your work is important, Zoe, but don't let it consume you. Remember, balance is key to success.
Her father's voice came from off-screen. It was as distant and unemotional as ever. Zoe felt a familiar tightness in her chest. It was the old ache of seeking approval and connection.
Right, balance. I'll keep that in mind.
The conversation struggled to progress smoothly. It was filled with awkward pauses and superficial questions. Zoe found herself having trouble concentrating. Her eyes kept being drawn to her apartment. She noticed inexplicable changes in her surroundings. These mysterious alterations distracted her from the stilted dialogue.
Zoe, are you listening? You seem distracted.
Sorry, I just had a thought. Do you ever feel like things aren't quite right? It's as if something has changed. But you can't pinpoint what it is. This strange sensation leaves you wondering about the subtle shifts in your surroundings or experiences.
That sounds like stress talking, Zoe. Perhaps you should consider taking a break from your studies.
Zoe felt a flash of frustration. Of course, they wouldn't understand. They never did. This familiar pattern of misunderstanding was a recurring issue for Zoe, highlighting the persistent gap between her experiences and others' perceptions.
You're probably right. Look, I should go. I have a lot to do today.
Of course, dear. Take care of yourself.
The call ended, leaving Zoe feeling more alone than ever. She stood up on shaky legs. Zoe walked to the window and looked outside. The city appeared normal, but now even that felt suspect. She rested her head on the cool window. Zoe tried to steady herself in the moment.
What's happening to me?
A book fell from her shelf with a loud thud. Zoe spun around, her heart pounding. The book lay open on the floor. Its pages were fluttering mysteriously, as if blown by an invisible wind. She approached it cautiously. Her breath caught as she saw the title. It read, The Illusion of Self, Consciousness and the Fragility of Identity.
I don't own this book?
Zoe's hands trembled as she picked up the volume. As she did so, a small note fell out. The note was covered in handwriting she didn't recognize. It contained just 3 words. The message read, They're watching you. The sense of unease had been building all morning. Suddenly, it crashed over Zoe like a wave. She stumbled back, the book falling from her grasp. The walls of her apartment seemed to close in. The familiar surroundings became threatening. Something was very, very wrong. Zoe had a sinking feeling that this was only the beginning. The university library stood as a bastion of knowledge. Its towering shelves were filled with countless volumes. Zoe Chen sat hunched over a desk in the library. Her eyes darted across pages of neuroscience journals. The soft glow of her laptop illuminated her focused expression. She furiously typed notes on her computer. The quiet atmosphere of the library complemented Zoe's intense concentration as she delved deep into her studies.
This can't be right. The data doesn't match up with Dr. Thorne's latest findings.
Zoe frowned in concentration. She rubbed her forehead, trying to make sense of conflicting information. Suddenly, a shadow fell across her desk. Zoe looked up, startled. A young man stood there, smiling at her. His striking blue eyes caught her attention immediately.
Excuse me, is this seat taken?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Zoe hesitated as the stranger sat down across from her. She felt an odd sense of familiarity. She couldn't shake the feeling that she'd seen him before. Yet, Zoe was certain they had never met.
I'm Alex. I noticed you're engrossed in complex neuroscience material. You must be the famous Zoe Chen I've heard so much about.
Famous? Hardly. I'm just a PhD candidate trying to make sense of consciousness.
Zoe was usually guarded. However, she found herself drawn into conversation with Alex. His charm was captivating. Alex showed genuine interest in her work. This was disarming for Zoe. She felt a flutter of attraction. It was a feeling she hadn't experienced in years.
Your theories on neural networks are fascinating. You also discuss emergent consciousness. These ideas are truly intriguing. Have you thought about their impact? How might they affect artificial intelligence?
Actually, I've been exploring that topic. Wait, how do you know about my theories? They haven't been published yet?
A sharp pain suddenly shot through Zoe's head. The intense sensation caused her to wince and clutch her temples. As she struggled with the pain, the library around her began to change. The room seemed to warp and distort before her eyes. Even the bookshelves appeared to bend, twisting at angles that should have been impossible.
I don't feel well. What's happening?
Zoe, are you all right? Maybe we should get you some air.
Alex's voice sounded distant and echoed strangely. Zoe blinked rapidly, trying to clear her vision. The room spun around her, causing disorientation. Time felt distorted and uneven. Seconds stretched out, feeling like they lasted for hours.
No, I need to go. I'm sorry, I have to leave.
Zoe stumbled to her feet and hastily gathered her belongings. Her hands were shaking as she cast one last confused glance at Alex. She hurried towards the exit, her mind reeling from the intense experience. Zoe felt an unsettling attraction towards this mysterious stranger.
Zoe, wait, are you sure you're okay too?
But Zoe was already gone. She pushed through the library doors into the cool night air. Her heart raced as she tried to make sense of what had just happened. The pain in her head persisted, reminding her of the situation. Something was very wrong indeed. The bright, harsh lights in Dr. Emerson's office cast stark shadows. Zoe fidgeted in the leather chair, her face illuminated. The room, usually a place for scholarly talks, felt suffocating today. Zoe's eyes darted nervously around the space. She took in the familiar diplomas and brain scans on the walls. These once familiar items now looked strange and judgmental to her. The atmosphere weighed heavily, transforming the office into an alien environment.
Dr. Zoe, you look troubled. What seems to be the matter?
Dr. Emerson, I'm not sure how to explain this. I've been experiencing some strange occurrences lately.
Zoe's voice trembled slightly. Her usual confidence was noticeably absent. Dr. Emerson leaned forward in response. His forehead creased with concern as he observed Zoe's demeanor.
Strange occurrences? Can you elaborate?
I've been losing time lately. Entire chunks of my day just vanish. Sometimes, I find myself doing things I don't remember starting. It feels like someone else is controlling me.
Dr. Emerson's expression softened. A practiced look of understanding appeared on his face.
Zoe, you've been under immense pressure lately. Your research seems to be causing stress. It's not uncommon for stress to show up in strange ways. Have you been sleeping well?
Not really, but this feels different. It's more than just stress or lack of sleep. Something's wrong, Dr. Emerson. I can feel it.
A flicker of an indecipherable expression passed over Dr. Emerson's face. It disappeared so quickly that Zoe doubted her own perception.
I understand your concern. Let's start with the simplest explanation. Your brain is your most valuable asset, Zoe. It needs rest to function properly. I recommend taking a week off from your research, get some sleep, and maybe try meditation.
But my work.
We'll still be here when you return. Your health comes first.
Zoe nodded reluctantly, feeling overwhelmed by exhaustion. The weight of fatigue pressed down on her heavily. As she stood to leave, a wave of dizziness hit her. This sudden sensation caused her to stumble slightly.
Are you all right?
Yes, just tired, I guess. You're probably right about the rest.
Zoe reached for the door handle. Dr. Emerson's phone rang unexpectedly. He waved her out with a reassuring smile. Dr. Emerson turned away to answer the call. Zoe paused in the doorway, her hand on the knob. Fragments of the conversation drifted to her ears.
Yes, she came to me. No, I don't think she suspects. The treatment is progressing as expected.
Zoe's blood ran cold. She forced herself to close the door quietly. Her mind was racing as she walked down the hallway. The sterile walls seemed to close in around her. A seed of paranoia had been planted by a mysterious fragment of dialogue. This seed began to take root in her mind, feeding her growing unease.
What treatment? What don't I suspect?
Her whispered questions echoed in the empty corridor. The questions remained unanswered and ominous. The familiar university suddenly felt like a labyrinth. It seemed full of secrets and hidden dangers. Zoe quickened her pace, desperate to escape. The building now felt more like a trap than a place of learning. The sterile white walls of the brain research lab seemed to pulse with an eerie glow. Zoe Chen carefully adjusted the final settings on her test equipment. Her fingers trembled slightly as she worked. This subtle shaking revealed the mix of excitement and nervousness flowing through her body.
This is it. If this works, we could be on the verge of a breakthrough in consciousness research.
Zoe took a deep breath. She steadied herself, preparing to start the experiment. A low hum of machinery filled the air. It was a constant reminder of the advanced technology around her.
Are you ready, Zoe? Remember, we're pushing the boundaries of science here. Stay focused.
Yes, Dr. Thorne. I've triple-checked everything. We're good to go.
Zoe activated the experimental sequence. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness washed over her. The room began to spin. Colors blurred into a kaleidoscopic mess. The rapid sequence of sensations left Zoe disoriented and struggling to maintain her balance.
What's happening? I don't feel...
Darkness engulfed Zoe's consciousness. Time seemed to stretch and compress. She felt lost in complete emptiness. When awareness finally returned, Zoe opened her eyes. She found herself sprawled on the cold lab floor. Chaos surrounded her in every direction.
Ugh, my head. What? Dr. Thorne? Anyone?
Zoe struggled to her feet. Her vision was blurry as she looked around. The lab was in a state of chaos. Equipment lay scattered across the floor. Some of it was emitting worrying sparks. Panic began to set in. She realized she had no memory of what had happened.
Zoe, are you all right? We've been trying to reach you for hours.
Trevor? Hours? What are you talking about? I just started the experiment.
No, Zoe. That was almost 5 hours ago. We've got security footage. You need to see this.
Trevor's face was pale. His expression showed a mix of concern and fear. He led Zoe to a computer terminal. Trevor pulled up the security feed. As the footage played, Zoe's blood ran cold.
That's not possible. That can't be me.
On the screen, Zoe watched herself. She was moving chaotically around the lab. Zoe was tearing apart equipment. She jotted down complex symbols on the walls. Her eyes were wild and unfocused. Zoe appeared to be controlled by an invisible force.
Dr. Thorne left about an hour ago. He appeared to be quite shaken. He asked us to check on you. We should make sure you're okay. This is especially important when you regain full awareness.
Came back to myself, Trevor. I don't remember any of this. It feels like I wasn't even here.
A chill ran down Zoe's spine. The full implications of the situation began to sink in. Something had gone terribly wrong during the experiment. This occurrence had affected her very consciousness. The realization dawned on Zoe that the experimental mishap had altered her fundamental awareness in ways she was only beginning to comprehend.
Oh, God, what's happening to me?
Zoe stared at her reflection in a nearby monitor. A flash of something strange seemed to pass behind her eyes. For a brief moment, it was as if a stranger was staring back at her. The realization hit her like a physical blow. Something was seriously wrong. Her grip on reality was slipping away, along with her sense of self. The autumn sun hung low in the sky. It cast long shadows across the campus grounds. Zoe Chen walked briskly along the familiar path. Her mind was racing with theories and equations. Suddenly, the world around her began to shift. The buildings appeared to bend and twist before her eyes.
No, not again. This can't be happening.
Zoe squeezed her eyes shut. She tried to stop the distortion. When she opened her eyes again, she saw a figure approaching. The figure moved through the haze.
Zoe, are you all right?
It was Alex Kovac. His face showed deep worry. Zoe felt conflicting emotions. She experienced a mixture of relief and unease. His unexpected arrival caught her off guard.
Alex? I'm not sure. Everything's wrong. The buildings there...
Take a deep breath. Focus on my voice. What you're seeing isn't real.
Zoe closed her eyes again. She concentrated on Alex's words. When she reopened her eyes, the world had somewhat stabilized. However, everything still felt slightly out of balance.
How did you know? Have you experienced this too?
I told you, Zoe. We're in this together. They're doing something to us, altering our perceptions.
As Alex spoke, Zoe noticed something odd. There was something strange about his demeanor. His words were reassuring to hear, but his eyes seemed to show a hidden feeling. Zoe couldn't quite place what she saw.
Alex, how did you find me here? I don't remember telling you my schedule.
Oh, I was just passing by. Lucky coincidence, I guess.
The hesitation in Alex's voice set off alarm bells in Zoe's mind. She took a step back. Zoe studied Alex more closely.
No, that doesn't make sense. This part of campus is restricted. Only neuroscience researchers are allowed here. You shouldn't be in this area at all.
Zoe, you're confused. The episode you just had.
Stop. Just stop. I may be experiencing something unusual, but I'm not stupid. Something's not right here. I'm gonna figure it out.
A flash of emotion crossed Alex's face. It might have been anger or fear. Quickly, his expression settled into a mask of concern.
You're not thinking clearly. Let me help you get back to your lab, Dr. Thorne can.
No, I'm done relying on others. I won't let them explain what's happening to me anymore. I'm determined to figure out what's going on myself. This situation needs my personal attention, and I'm ready to take charge of understanding it on my own terms.
Zoe turned away from Alex with renewed determination. She walked quickly towards the research building. Behind her, she could feel Alex's eyes watching her intently. But Zoe didn't turn around. Her increased pace reflected her resolve to move forward.
Whatever's going on, whatever they've done to me, I'm going to find out. And I'm going to fix it.
Zoe disappeared into the building. The campus grounds seemed to ripple once more. It was like the surface of a disturbed pond. In that moment, reality and illusion blurred even further. This marked the beginning of Zoe's true descent into the unknown. The familiar world around her was shifting, becoming something new and unpredictable. As she ventured deeper, the boundaries between what was real and what was imagined continued to fade away. The dim light of dawn filters through the blinds of Zoe's apartment. It illuminates a chaotic scene inside. Papers covered in hurried notes are taped to every available surface. These create a web of theories and questions. In the center of it all, Zoe sits with legs folded on the floor. Her eyes are wild and bloodshot from lack of sleep.
It has to be here somewhere. The connection, the missing piece eludes me. I can feel it slipping away. Every time I try to grasp it, it escapes. This understanding I seek remains just out of reach, frustratingly close yet impossible to fully comprehend.
Zoe's hands tremble as she shuffles through a stack of papers. Her gaze darts between equations and hastily drawn diagrams. Suddenly, she freezes in place. Her attention is caught by something unseen in the corner of the room.
No, not now. You're not real. You can't be real.
The air seems to shimmer and ripple. Zoe backs away from something she can't see. Her breathing quickens and becomes shallow. An unseen presence appears to be affecting the atmosphere around her. The sharp ring of her phone breaks the silence. Zoe jumps, suddenly brought back to reality. She fumbles for the device with shaky hands. Her voice trembles as she answers the call.
Hello?
Zoe, it's Maya. Are you okay? You missed our meeting with Dr. Thorne this morning.
Maya? What time is it?
It's almost noon. Zoe, what's going on? You've been acting strange for days now.
Zoe's eyes dart around the room. She takes in the chaos of her makeshift investigation board. Zoe struggles to formulate a coherent response. The scene is one of confusion and mental strain as she grapples with the information before her.
I'm fine. I'm just processing something. Maya, I've discovered something big. This could explain everything that's been happening to me.
What are you talking about? Zoe, you're scaring me. Do you need help?
Maya is speaking to the group. Zoe's attention is drawn to one of Maya's diagrams. Suddenly, Zoe's eyes widen with understanding.
The lab. It all leads back to the lab. Maya, I need to go. I'll explain everything later, I promise.
Zoe, wait.
Zoe ends the call abruptly. Her mind is racing with newfound clarity. She grabs her jacket and rushes out the door. Zoe leaves behind a web of theories. These theories now seem to pulse with hidden meaning. The sudden realization propels her into action, as if the pieces of a puzzle have finally clicked into place. The scene shifts to the university research lab. Zoe slips inside, her movements secretive and anxious. The familiar environment now feels strange to her. The lab has become threatening to Zoe, transforming her once comfortable space into a source of fear.
It has to be here. The evidence, the truth. They couldn't have erased everything.
Zoe rummages through files and equipment. Suddenly, a shadow falls across the doorway. She spins around quickly. Her heart is pounding with surprise.
Zoe, what are you doing here at this hour?
Dr. Elias Thorne stands in the doorway. His expression is a mixture of concern. There's also something darker and more calculating in his look.
Dr. Thorne, I was just reviewing some data for our project.
At midnight? Without authorization? Zoe, I'm worried about you. Your behavior lately has been concerning. It seems quite erratic.
Zoe's eyes dart between Dr. Thorne and the exit. Her instincts are screaming danger. She struggles to maintain her composure, even as tension builds within her.
I'm fine, really. I've just been working hard on a new theory. It's revolutionary.
I see. Why don't you tell me about it? Perhaps I can help.
Dr. Thorne steps closer to Zoe. She notices a change in his behavior. His eyes seem to gleam with an unnatural light. For a moment, his features appear to ripple and distort. This strange transformation catches Zoe off guard, leaving her uncertain about what she's witnessing.
No, this isn't right. You're not... What have you done to me?
Zoe, calm down. You're not well. Let me help you.
Dr. Thorne reaches out to Zoe. In Zoe's altered perception, his hand seems to change. His fingers appear to grow longer, sharpening into claws. Zoe lets out a cry of terror. She pushes past Dr. Thorne and flees the lab. Zoe runs through the darkened corridors of the university. Her thoughts are spinning from what she's just witnessed. She bursts out into the cool night air. A chilling realization settles over her as she processes the implications of her discovery.
They've been manipulating me all along. My own mind, it's not mine anymore.
The city lights blur around Zoe as she stumbles forward. She is no longer certain where reality ends and her nightmares begin. Zoe has uncovered a truth that threatens her research. This revelation also challenges her very sense of self. The discovery has left her disoriented, both physically and mentally. As she moves through the city, the line between what's real and what's imagined becomes increasingly blurred. The impact of her findings goes beyond her work, shaking the very foundation of her identity. The dim, flickering light of computer screens illuminated the cramped underground space. Zoe Chen's eyes darted nervously around the room. She found herself surrounded by a group of disheveled students. Despite their appearance, the students were intensely focused. The air was thick with the smell of energy drinks. A low hum of overworked processors filled the room.
Is this safe? Are you sure we can't be traced here?
Relax, Zoe. This place is more secure than most government facilities. Quantum encryption is a serious technology for us. We use it to ensure top-level security and protection.
Alex Kovac was a mysterious figure. He had led Zoe to an underground hacker den. Alex spoke with a calm assurance. His manner both comforted and unnerved Zoe. His fingers flew across the keyboard. Lines of code reflected in his glasses.
I can't shake the feeling that they're watching, that they know what we're doing.
That's why we're here, Zoe. We need to find out who they are. We also want to know what they're really up to. Now, tell us more about these blackouts you've been experiencing. We'd also like to hear about the changes in your behavior you've noticed.
Zoe hesitated, her brilliant mind in turmoil. Paranoia had become her constant companion. She took a deep breath to steady herself. Zoe prepared to share her experiences with these strangers.
It started small. Gaps appeared in my memory. I found myself in unfamiliar places. Lately, it feels like someone else is taking control. I've done and said things I never would normally. My research might be connected to these changes. Something strange is happening, and I'm struggling to understand it.
Holy shit, guys, look at this.
The group huddled around Alex's screen. Their faces were lit by a strange blue glow. Zoe pushed forward, her heart racing. She saw lines of redacted text and fragmented images on the display.
There's a project called Mindweave. It's top-secret research into consciousness manipulation. Someone's name appears frequently in these documents. Can you guess whose name it is?
Dr. Thorne, my advisor. But why would he?
Zoe's world spun as the realization hit her hard. The betrayal of her mentor was overwhelming. She struggled to comprehend the scale of the conspiracy. It was too much for her to bear. Instinctively, she gripped the edge of the desk tightly. Her knuckles turned white from the pressure as she tried to steady herself.
This goes way beyond one professor, Zoe. We're talking about government agencies and private corporations. They're using your theories and your research. Their goal is to develop ways to control people's minds.
No. This can't be happening. I was trying to help people. My goal was to understand consciousness. I never meant for this to happen.
Tears welled in Zoe's eyes. The weight of her unintentional involvement overwhelmed her. The room seemed to close in around her. Shadows in the corners grew darker and more menacing. Zoe felt trapped by the sudden realization of her role in the situation.
Hey, stay with us, Zoe. We're going to figure this out. You need to be prepared. They're not going to let this go easily. From now on, trust no one, not even yourself.
As the seriousness of the situation sank in, Zoe felt a chill run down her spine. The line between ally and enemy had become blurred. So too had the boundary between reality and manipulation. Zoe found herself in an underground sanctuary. She was surrounded by glowing screens and allies whispering theories. It was then that Zoe realized her true fight was just beginning. She would have to battle for her mind and her very sense of self. The abandoned research facility loomed before Zoe and Alex. Its rundown exterior contrasted starkly with the advanced experiments once conducted inside. As they approached the entrance, a chill ran down Zoe's spine. Her instincts screamed that something was terribly wrong.
This is it, Alex. The coordinates you found led us here. I can't shake this unsettling feeling. Whatever happened in this place seems connected to my current situation.
Stay sharp, Zoe. We don't know what we might find inside. Are you sure you're up for this?
I have to be. It's the only lead we've got.
They shared a determined nod. Together, they forced open the rusted door. The hinges groaned loudly in protest. The sound echoed through empty corridors. Inside, the air was thick with dust. A lingering scent of chemicals hung in the atmosphere. Zoe's flashlight beam cut through the darkness. It revealed overturned furniture and shattered equipment.
Look at this place. It's like they left in a hurry.
Or they were trying to cover their tracks. Alex, over here!
Zoe's voice quivered with emotion. She felt a mix of excitement and dread. Zoe approached a computer terminal. The terminal was partially intact. Her conflicting feelings grew as she neared the damaged device.
If we can get this working, it might give us some answers.
Zoe worked to boot up the old system. The room around her began to change. The walls seemed to breathe. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision. This eerie transformation unfolded as she focused on her task.
No, not now. Please, not now.
Zoe, what's wrong?
I can't. Everything's changing. Alex, I can't tell what's real anymore.
Panic gripped Zoe as the world around her changed rapidly. The room twisted and warped, distorting her surroundings. It transformed into a nightmarish version of its former self. Ghostly figures wearing lab coats suddenly appeared. They moved around Zoe, seemingly conducting experiments she couldn't see.
Zoe, listen to my voice. Focus on me. You're here with me in the abandoned lab. What you're seeing isn't real.
Alex's voice cut through the chaos in Zoe's mind. She clung to it like a lifeline. Zoe struggled to separate hallucination from reality. The sound of Alex speaking helped ground her in the moment, providing a clear point of focus amidst her confusion.
I can see them, Alex. The experiments are horrible. What they did to those people is unimaginable. The sight of it all is deeply disturbing.
Tell me what you see, Zoe. Let it out. I'm right here with you.
Zoe described the terrifying sights to Alex. He listened intently, holding her hand tightly. Slowly, the phantoms began to fade away. The room then returned to its empty, abandoned condition.
It's clearing up now. Thank you, Alex. I don't know what I'd do without you here.
We're in this together, Zoe. Whatever's happening to you, we'll figure it out. Now let's see what we can salvage from that computer.
Zoe turned back to the terminal with renewed determination. The screen flickered to life. A file name caught her eye. Project Neuronova. Her heart raced as she realized something important. They might be close to discovering the truth. This truth could explain her condition.
Alex, I think we found something. But this discovery feels unsettling. Why does it seem like we're only barely uncovering the truth? Could there be something much bigger and more terrifying beneath?
Because we probably are, but whatever it is, we'll face it together. You're not alone in this, Zoe.
As Zoe and Alex searched through the files, their bond grew stronger. They found themselves in an abandoned place filled with nightmares. Despite this, they discovered an unexpected source of support in each other. It was like a small light of hope in the darkness around them. This overwhelming darkness seemed to threaten their very existence. Yet, together, they faced the challenges that lay ahead. Zoe stood before the bathroom mirror. Her hands gripped the cold porcelain sink. Bright, cold light from above cast odd shadows on her face. She found it hard to recognize her own reflection. Blinking firmly, Zoe tried to clear her vision and focus.
Who am I looking at?
Her reflection seemed to shift and waver. It was like looking at a poorly tuned television set. One moment, she saw herself as she always had. She appeared determined and confident. The next, a scared child stared back at her. Then, she saw a stranger with cold, calculating eyes.
This isn't real. This can't be real.
Zoe, are you in there? We need to talk.
Dr. Thorne's voice cut through Zoe's confusion. It was sharp, like a knife. Zoe stumbled away from the mirror. Her heart was racing.
Dr. Thorne? How did you get in my apartment?
That's not important right now. Open the door, Zoe. We don't have much time.
Zoe hesitated at the door. Her hand hovered over the doorknob. Dr. Thorne's tone made her uneasy. A chill ran down her spine.
What's going on? Why are you here?
I'm here to help you, Zoe, but you need to trust me. Open the door.
Against her better judgment, Zoe turned the knob. Dr. Thorne stood in the doorway. His usually composed demeanor was gone. In its place was an unsettling urgency. The sudden change in Dr. Thorne's appearance caught Zoe off guard.
Good. Now listen carefully. Your research has progressed beyond what you imagined. There are people who want to use it. They aim to control minds on an unimaginable scale.
What? No, that's impossible. My work is theoretical. It's not.
It's very possible, Zoe. And I'm afraid I'm part of it.
Zoe stumbled backward. Her eyes were wide with emotion. She felt a mixture of disbelief and betrayal.
You? But you've been my mentor. My advisor. How could you?
I didn't have a choice. They threatened my family and my career. But now, I see what it's done to you. I can't stand by any longer.
Zoe's mind reeled as she struggled to process the new information. The room seemed to spin around her, disorienting her further. Reality began to bend and warp before her eyes. It reminded her of a distorted reflection in a mirror. The overwhelming sensations left Zoe feeling confused and detached from her surroundings.
What's happening to me? Am I losing my mind?
In a way, yes. But it's not your fault, Zoe. They've been experimenting on you. They've been using your own theories against you.
Tears welled up in Zoe's eyes. The full weight of the situation hit her. She felt overwhelmed by the gravity of what was happening.
How do I know this is real? How do I know you're not just another hallucination?
You don't know. We're facing a terrifying truth. If you still trust me, even a little, please listen. You need to come with me right now. We might have a chance to stop this. We could save you.
Zoe looked back at the mirror. She saw her broken reflection once more. In that moment, Zoe made a decision. It was a choice that would alter her entire life. This single action would set in motion a series of events, transforming her world completely.
Okay, let's go. But if this is a trick...
It's not. I promise you, Zoe. We're in this together now.
As they left the apartment, Zoe felt uneasy. She sensed she was leaving behind more than just a room. Zoe was stepping into an uncertain world. In this new reality, nothing could be trusted. Not even her own mind felt reliable anymore. Sterile fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows in the neuroscience lab. Zoe hunched over her workstation, her face illuminated. The lab, once a sanctuary of scientific pursuit, now felt like a prison. It was a confinement of Zoe's own making. Her fingers flew across the keyboard, inputting data rapidly. She was working on her latest consciousness experiments.
There has to be an answer here. My research, it's the key to understanding what's happening to me.
Zoe's eyes darted between multiple screens. Each screen displayed intricate brain activity and equations. She paused, rubbing her temples. A familiar feeling of disorientation came over her.
Focus, Zoe. You can't afford to lose yourself now.
Zoe, you're still here? It's past midnight.
Maya's concerned voice cut through the silence. The sudden sound startled Zoe. She turned to face her friend. Zoe tried to hide the desperation in her eyes.
Maya, I believe I'm close to a breakthrough. These patterns are not just theoretical, they're happening in my brain right now.
What do you mean? Zoe, you're scaring me. Maybe we should call Dr. Thorne.
No, not him. I can't trust. I don't know who to trust anymore.
Zoe's outburst lingered in the air. The atmosphere was heavy with implications. Maya approached cautiously. Her eyes scanned the screens before her. These displays were filled with data, providing a stark backdrop to the tense situation.
Talk to me, Zoe. What's really going on?
My consciousness is unstable, Maya. These fundamental aspects are shifting. It feels like my sense of self is being rewritten. The core of who I am seems to be changing in ways I can't control.
Zoe's fingers trembled as she operated the controls. She displayed a 3D model of neural pathways on the main screen. An intricate web of connections appeared before their eyes. The model pulsed and shifted, revealing complex neural networks.
Look, this is a normal brain. And this is mine.
The second model appeared. Its pathways were distorted and alien. Maya gasped in shock. Her hand covered her mouth.
That's impossible. How is this happening?
I don't know what's happening. But something is accelerating. Every time I experience a blackout, I lose time. Maya, these events are changing me. I feel like I'm losing myself.
Tears filled Zoe's eyes. The impact of her discovery hit her hard. She looked down at her hands. Suddenly, a strange doubt crept in. Were these hands really hers? The question shook her to her core.
What if I'm not me anymore? What if the real Zoe is already gone?
Don't say that. We'll figure this out. You're still you, Zoe. We just need to find a way to stop this. We'll find out what's causing it. Everything will be okay.
Maya's words were meant to comfort. However, they fell hollow in the face of the terrifying reality. The screens displayed a frightening scene. Zoe turned back to the computer. Her movements became increasingly frantic.
I need to document everything. Before I forget, before I change again. Maya, promise me something.
Anything, Zoe. What do you need?
If I start behaving differently, be cautious. If you notice any major changes, don't trust me. Promise me you'll protect my research. Protect it even from me if necessary.
The weight of Zoe's request weighed heavily between them. Maya hesitated, feeling torn. She felt conflicted between loyalty to her friend and horror at the situation. Maya was struggling to process what she was witnessing. The gravity of the moment left her deeply unsettled, caught between her commitment to friendship and the disturbing reality before her.
I promise, Zoe. But it won't come to that. We'll find a way to fix this.
As Maya spoke, Zoe's attention shifted. Her gaze drifted to the screen showing neural patterns. For a brief moment, she thought she saw something strange. A foreign presence seemed to lurk within the data. It appeared to be watching her. Zoe blinked, and the presence vanished.
I hope you're right, Maya, but I'm not sure how much of me will be left to save.
The lab fell into an uneasy silence. It was broken only by soft beeping equipment and rapid key tapping. Zoe raced against time to save the last bits of who she was. A question lingered, unspoken but felt by all. Was she still Zoe Chen? Or had she already become something else entirely? The city streets of Boston appeared to bend and distort before Zoe's eyes. She stumbled towards Alex's apartment, her vision blurring. Neon signs melted into bright streaks of light. Shadows seemed to dance at the edges of her sight. Zoe felt her sense of reality slipping away faster than ever before.
Alex, I need to find Alex. He'll understand. He has to.
Zoe's hand trembled as she knocked on Alex's door. Her heart was pounding in her chest. The door creaked open slowly. Alex's face appeared, showing concern.
Zoe, what's wrong? You don't look well.
I can't distinguish reality anymore, Alex. The city is transforming around me. I feel myself changing too. Please, I need your help.
Alex hesitated for a moment. Then he stepped aside to let Zoe in. His small apartment was cluttered with books and unusual gadgets. The crowded space reflected the turmoil in Zoe's mind.
Come in, sit down, tell me what's happening.
Zoe collapsed onto a worn couch. Her eyes darted around the room. She tried to focus on something stable. The sudden change in her surroundings left her feeling disoriented and unsettled.
It's getting worse. I'm losing time, Alex. When I'm aware nothing makes sense, the experiments and things they did to us were terrible. I think the effects are taking over my mind.
Slow down, Zoe. Take a deep breath. We'll figure this out together, okay?
Alex sat beside her. He cautiously placed a hand on her shoulder. Zoe flinched at first, then she leaned into the touch. She was desperate for any connection to ground her in reality.
I don't know who to trust anymore. Dr. Thorne, the university, and even Maya seem untrustworthy. But you understand, don't you? You've been through this too.
I do understand, Zoe. I understand more than you know. You need to stay strong. Your mind is your own. It may not feel like it right now, but remember, you have control over your thoughts and feelings, even in difficult times.
As Alex spoke, his voice began to change. It took on a mesmerizing tone. Zoe found herself drawn closer to Alex. Her racing thoughts started to slow down. The sound of his voice had a calming effect on her.
Alex, I've never felt this connection with anyone before. It's like you're the only solid thing in my life. You're my anchor in a world that feels like it's falling apart.
Zoe,
Their eyes met. For a moment, the chaos of Zoe's chaotic world faded away. She leaned in towards Alex. Their lips met in a desperate, searching kiss. But as they parted, Zoe's eyes widened in horror. For a moment, Alex's face seemed to shift. This brief instant revealed something inhuman beneath the surface.
Alex? What are you?
Zoe, calm down. It's not what you think.
No, stay back. You're one of them, aren't you? This whole time, you've been manipulating me.
Zoe jumped off the couch, backing away from Alex. Her mind was reeling from the revelation. The room seemed to spin around her. The trust she had carefully built now lay shattered, broken into countless pieces.
Zoe, please. I can explain. Yes, I'm involved, but not in the way you think. I'm trying to help you.
Help me? By lying to me? By pretending to be... God, I don't even know what's real anymore.
Tears flowed down Zoe's cheeks as she fumbled for the door handle. Her vision was blurring. The last thing she saw before fleeing into the night was Alex's face. It showed a mixture of guilt and something else. That something else seemed alien, unsettling her even more. Zoe ran through the twisting streets. Her mind raced with uncertainty. If Alex wasn't who he claimed to be, who could she trust? More importantly, who was she becoming? This nightmare of changing perceptions was transforming her. Zoe blinked, feeling disoriented. Her surroundings had suddenly shifted. The sterile lab had vanished. It was replaced by a hazy, spinning environment. This new space seemed to pulse with energy. Fragments of memories and abstract shapes floated by. They were just beyond Zoe's grasp, tantalizing yet unreachable.
What? Where am I? This can't be real.
As she spoke, her words echoed strangely. The sound reverberated through the shifting landscape. Zoe reached out with her hand. Her hand passed through a nearby memory fragment. This caused the fragment to shatter into 1,000 glittering pieces.
Is this a simulation? But it feels so real. I can't tell the difference.
Suddenly, the space around her solidified. It transformed into a familiar setting. Her childhood bedroom. But something was off about the room. The proportions were wrong, and the colors were too vivid. Shadows lurked in impossible corners.
Zoe, sweetie, why are you still awake? You know how disappointed we get. We feel this way when you don't follow the rules.
Zoe whirled around suddenly. She came face to face with a towering figure. It was a distorted version of her mother. The figure's eyes were hollow and lifeless. Its smile stretched unnaturally wide. The grin was filled with sharp, menacing teeth.
You're not real. This isn't real. I'm a grown woman. I know I'm at the lab. This is just a simulation.
Oh, Zoe, isn't this what you've always feared? You worry that you're still that little girl, a girl desperate for approval, terrified of disappointing us. These thoughts haunt you, don't they? The fear of being seen as immature and needy. You struggle with the idea that you haven't grown up, that you're still seeking our validation. But remember, everyone has insecurities. It's part of being human.
The room began to warp and twist. The walls were closing in around Zoe. Her breath quickened with fear. Zoe squeezed her eyes shut tightly. She willed the nightmare to end.
This isn't real. I control my own mind. I am Dr. Zoe Chen, and I will not be controlled.
Zoe shouted loudly. The scene around her shattered like glass. Pieces of the fake world fell apart. She found herself in a vast, empty white space. Her heart was pounding in her chest. The sudden change left her feeling disoriented and afraid.
Impressive, Zoe. You're stronger than we anticipated.
Dr. Thorne's voice echoed mysteriously. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The eerie sound sent a chill down Zoe's spine.
Dr. Thorne? What is this? What have you done to me?
This, my dear, is the frontier of consciousness. Your theories were correct, but you've only scratched the surface. We're pushing the boundaries of what's possible. You're our key participant in this endeavor. We're exploring the edge of awareness, and you're at the center of it all.
Rage and fear battled inside Zoe. The impact of Thorne's words became clear. She clenched her fists, determined to fight back. Zoe would resist whatever was being done to her mind.
You have no right. I never consented to this. Let me out now.
I'm afraid it's not that simple, Zoe. The experiment has already begun. Your mind is changing in unexpected ways. Soon, you'll thank us for unlocking your true potential.
The white space began to fracture. Reality was bleeding through the cracks. Zoe felt a tugging sensation. It was as if her consciousness was being pulled apart. The pull seemed to come from 1,000 directions at once.
No, I won't let you do this. I am in control. I am.
Her words faltered as the world around her changed. Reality seemed to shift and transform rapidly, breaking into fragments. Different versions of reality competed for dominance. Zoe struggled to hold on to her sense of self. The boundaries between real and simulated blurred. Everything became unrecognizable to her. As the chaos subsided, Zoe found herself back in the lab. She was gasping for air, trying to catch her breath. A lingering doubt remained in her mind. Was this truly reality, or just another layer of the simulation? The secret research facility loomed before Zoe and Alex. It was a large concrete building hidden in an industrial complex. The complex was on the outskirts of Boston. The night air was thick with tension as they approached. Their hearts raced, matching the distant hum of machinery.
This is it, Alex. Everything we've been through, it all leads to this moment.
Stay sharp, Zoe. We have no idea what we're walking into. Trust nothing, not even your own senses.
Zoe nodded grimly. Her hand instinctively reached for the small device in her pocket. It was a makeshift EMP generator they had put together. This device was their only defense. They faced unknown technology waiting for them inside.
I've got this. The access code should be...
Zoe's fingers flew over the keypad. She was inputting a string of numbers. These numbers came from Dr. Thorne's encrypted files. For a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, with a soft click, the door slid open.
Nice work, let's move.
They slipped inside the sterile white corridors. It was a stark contrast to the darkness outside. The air was heavy with the scent of antiseptic and ozone. They crept deeper into the facility. The walls seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. This strange sensation made Zoe's skin crawl.
Alex, do you feel that? It's like the air itself is alive.
I feel it. Stay focused, Zoe. We need to find the main research lab.
They navigated through a maze of corridors. They narrowly avoided security patrols. Finally, they reached a heavily reinforced door. The door was marked Project Nexus. Zoe's hand trembled as she reached for the control panel.
This is it. Whatever's behind this door, it's the key to everything.
The door hissed open, revealing a vast chamber. The room was filled with rows of sleek, pod-like devices. Each pod contained a human figure, seemingly unconscious. The figures were connected to a complex array of wires and tubes. At the center of the room stood a massive spherical structure. The sphere pulsed with an eerie blue light, casting a strange glow throughout the chamber.
My God, Zoe, do you realize what this is?
It's a neural network. This network is a living, breathing consciousness. They're not just controlling individual minds, they're creating a hive mind on a global scale. The system connects and influences people worldwide, forming a vast, interconnected intelligence.
Zoe's voice faltered as the realization struck her. She had dreamed of using this technology to unlock the secrets of awareness. Instead, it had been twisted into a tool for mass control. The impact of this discovery left her shaken, confronting the stark contrast between her noble intentions and the technology's dark reality.
We've been detected. We need to shut this down now.
They rushed towards the central console. A familiar voice echoed through the chamber. The sound stopped Zoe in her tracks. This unexpected interruption halted their urgent mission, as Zoe recognized the voice that filled the space around them.
I'm impressed you made it this far, Zoe, but I'm afraid your little adventure ends here.
Dr. Thorne? You're behind all this?
Behind it? My dear, I created it. And now, you have a choice to make.
Dr. Thorne stepped out of the darkness. He was surrounded by armed guards. He pointed towards the central sphere. His eyes shone with an unsettling mix of pride and madness.
Join us, Zoe. Your brilliant mind could be crucial. It may help us perfect this system. Imagine a world free from conflict. Picture a place without suffering. Envision a world where all minds connect. They would exist in perfect harmony.
Connected or controlled?
Is there really a difference? You've always sought to understand consciousness. This is your chance to reshape it entirely.
Zoe's mind raced, torn between her passion for science and horror. What lay before her was both fascinating and terrifying. The choice she faced in the next few moments was critical. It would determine not just her own fate, but potentially humanity's future.
I need to think.
Zoe stood frozen, caught between two impossible choices. The alarm continued to blare. The central sphere pulsed more intensely. It seemed to sense the weight of the decision at hand. The story balanced precariously at its climax. The future of free will hung in the balance, its existence threatened. Zoe Chen found herself in the depths of a spinning, colorful emptiness. She was suspended between realities, her mind stretching and warping. At any moment, it threatened to break apart. Before her stood a figure both familiar and strange. It was Dr. Elias Thorne, his appearance changing into different versions of himself.
Welcome to the Singularity, Zoe. I must admit, I'm impressed you made it this far. Your resilience is remarkable.
Dr. Thorne? What is this place? What have you done to me?
Zoe's voice echoed strangely in the room. It sounded as if many copies of herself were speaking at the same time. She struggled to focus on her surroundings. Her perception began to fracture, revealing countless parallel realities around her.
This, my dear, is the peak of our studies. We've reached a place where awareness can be shaped. Here, the core of who we are can be rewritten. You're experiencing the true essence of the mind. It's now free from physical limits, revealing its real nature.
No, this isn't right. You're trying to control me, to erase who I am.
As Zoe spoke, her form began to split. Multiple ghostly versions of herself appeared. Each version represented a different facet of Zoe. These facets included her personality, memories, and potential futures.
Control? Erase? Such limited thinking, Zoe. I'm offering you transcendence. It's the ability to become anyone. You can experience every possibility. Why cling to one static identity? You can be infinite.
That unchanging self is who I am. My experiences shape me. My struggles contribute to my identity. My relationships play a crucial role. These elements define who I am. Together, they form the core of my being, creating a unique and enduring sense of self.
One of Zoe's fractured selves stepped forward. Her eyes blazed with determination. This version seemed to embody her strength. It also represented her drive to uncover the truth. The distinct aspect of Zoe's personality radiated confidence and purpose.
I won't let you take that away from me. I'll fight you, even if it means fighting myself.
Oh, Zoe, you still don't understand. I'm not your enemy. I'm your creator and your guide. We're entering a new age of awareness. Together we can change what it means to be human.
The void around them pulsed with energy. Reality was bending and twisting. Memories and possible futures flashed by. They appeared like fragments of broken glass. Zoe felt her grip on her core self slipping away.
No, I won't let you. I am Zoe Chen. I am...
Her voice faltered as doubt crept in. Zoe questioned which version of herself was real. Were any of these versions truly authentic? Or were they all just constructs? This internal struggle unfolded in an abstract mental arena, challenging her sense of identity and reality.
Let go, Zoe. Embrace the singularity. Your consciousness can expand beyond anything you've ever imagined. Why fight it?
As Thorn spoke, his form multiplied. Countless versions of her mentor surrounded Zoe. Each one offered a different temptation. They presented various paths to supposed enlightenment. These copies of Thorn appeared all around Zoe, each trying to sway her with unique promises of wisdom.
I'm more than just a collection of neurons and synapses. I'm a person with dreams and fears. I have people I care about. My existence goes beyond mere biology. I experience emotions and form meaningful relationships. These qualities define me as an individual, not just my physical makeup.
Suddenly, in the middle of the chaos, Zoe caught glimpses of faces. She saw Maya, her parents, and even her sister Erica, whom she hadn't seen in years. These familiar connections acted as an anchor for Zoe. They grounded her, providing stability in the whirling confusion around her.
You're wrong, Dr. Thorne. Consciousness is more than just individual minds. It's about how we connect with each other. It's about how we influence one another. This connection and influence is what makes us human.
With each word, Zoe's separate parts started to unite. They were drawn together by the strength of her convictions. The mysterious void trembled in response. Reality bent to the force of her will, reshaping itself.
Impossible. You can't resist the singularity. No one has ever.
I am Zoe Chen, and I choose who I want to be.
A blinding light erupted from Zoe's unified form. The light pushed back against the advancing darkness. A battle for Zoe's mind had begun. It was a fight for the very essence of awareness. This struggle had only just started. The once familiar streets of Boston looked strange to Zoe. Buildings bent at odd angles, and the world around her seemed to break apart. Zoe stood in the middle of this chaotic scene. Her mind created this surreal landscape, yet she felt trapped within it.
What is this place? It's Boston, but not. How am I doing this?
Zoe's voice trembled as she observed the bizarre scenery. Fragments of her memories appeared around her. She saw a childhood bedroom, her university lab, and faces of people she knew. These memories were drifting and blending in midair. The scene resembled a chaotic mixture of images, like a disorganized patchwork of her past.
This is your mind, Zoe. The experiment has given you a powerful ability. You can now shape reality. However, this power is causing harm. It's tearing you apart.
Alex appeared beside her. His form flickered like a glitchy hologram. His expression showed a mix of awe and concern. The unusual sight of Alex wavering in and out of view created an eerie atmosphere. His face revealed a complex emotional state, combining wonder with unease.
Alex? How are you here? What's happening to me?
I'm here because you need me. I'm a part of this too. Remember, we're connected through the experiment.
As Alex spoke, the landscape shifted again. They found themselves standing in a new place. It was a warped copy of Zoe's childhood home. The walls were closing in ominously around them.
No, not here. I can't face this.
Zoe's breath quickened. Panic began to rise in her chest. Memories of her distant parents surfaced. Her lonely childhood came to mind. These thoughts began to overwhelm her.
You have to, Zoe. This is the key to regaining control. Face your fears, make peace with your past.
Alex's form began to change. His appearance shifted between different identities. He took on the look of Dr. Thorne, then Maya. Finally, he even resembled Zoe herself.
What are you? Who are you really, Alex?
I'm whatever you need me to be, Zoe. I can be a guide, a friend, or a part of yourself. I'm the part you've been afraid to confront, but now you need to let go of me. You must face this on your own.
With those words, Alex vanished into thin air. Zoe found herself alone in a warped version of her childhood home. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with hidden memories and emotions. This eerie environment surrounded her, reflecting the suppressed feelings of her past.
No, don't leave me. I can't do this alone.
Zoe called out. Despite this, she felt a strong feeling of resolve growing inside her. She took a deep breath. Zoe then prepared herself mentally for the challenges that awaited her.
I've always been alone. Maybe that's okay. Maybe I'm strong enough to face this.
Zoe found new determination. She stepped forward into her fears. She was ready to confront the ghosts of her past. With courage, Zoe was determined to reclaim her future. The core pulsed with an eerie, electric blue light. Zoe stepped into the heart of the mind network. Holographic displays flickered around her. Each display represented a fragment of human thought and memory. The air itself seemed to crackle with raw potential. It was as if reality was malleable in this place. The atmosphere buzzed with unseen energy, surrounding Zoe with a sense of limitless possibility.
This is it, the nexus of everything we've been working towards. But at what cost?
Zoe's hands trembled as she approached the central console. Her reflection appeared in the glossy surface. The familiar features looked strange, altered by exhaustion and fear.
Magnificent, isn't it? This is the result of years of research. It's the key to unlocking the very core of human consciousness. We've created something truly extraordinary here, a breakthrough in understanding the human mind.
Dr. Thorne's voice echoed through the chamber. He was nowhere to be seen. Zoe spun around quickly. Her heart was racing with anticipation. The disembodied voice and sudden movement created an atmosphere of mystery and tension.
Where are you? Show yourself.
I'm everywhere, Zoe. And soon, you could be too. Imagine it. Your consciousness expanded. You could be freed from the limitations of a single mind. Your awareness would broaden, extending beyond the confines of individual thought.
A holographic image of Dr. Thorne appeared. The figure materialized in front of her. His eyes gleamed with an eerie intensity.
This isn't right. We're meddling with forces we don't fully understand. The human mind isn't meant to be spread out in this way. Our actions could have unforeseen consequences, as we're tampering with the very essence of human consciousness. We need to reconsider our approach and proceed with extreme caution.
Don't you see? This is the next step in human evolution. There are no more boundaries or isolation. A collective consciousness now spans the globe. We are witnessing a shared awareness that connects us all across the world.
Zoe's gaze darted between the console and the hologram of her mentor. The choice before her seemed impossible. She could reclaim her old self or embrace a new, expanded identity. This new identity defied everything she thought she knew about consciousness. The decision weighed heavily on her, challenging her understanding of herself and reality.
And what happens to individual autonomy, to free will?
Outdated concepts, my dear. Imagine a world without conflict or misunderstanding. Picture every mind connected, all working together in perfect harmony.
Zoe's fingers hovered over the console. Her reflection was scattered across its surface. In that moment, she saw more than just herself. She glimpsed everyone she'd ever known. Maya, Alex, her parents, and even Detective Ramirez appeared in the broken reflection.
But at what cost? Our individuality, our unique experiences, that's what makes us human.
Progress always comes at a price, Zoe. You've always known that. The question is this: are you willing to pay this price? Each step forward has its cost. Now, you must decide if you're ready to accept it.
The core pulsed in rhythm with Zoe's racing heartbeat. The fate of personal freedom hung in the balance. Everything waited for her crucial decision.
I can't. This isn't the answer.
Zoe's hand was trembling. She reached for something important. It was the emergency shutdown sequence. The tension was palpable as she prepared to initiate the critical procedure.
Think carefully, Zoe. Once you make this choice, there's no going back.
I know. But some lines should never be crossed.
Zoe's fingers danced across the console. She was initiating the shutdown procedure. The holographic displays around her began to flicker and fade. The air itself seemed to grow thicker. It was as if reality was reasserting itself. As the virtual world disappeared, the physical environment became more prominent.
You're making a mistake. You're condemning humanity to remain trapped in their isolated minds.
No, I'm preserving what makes us human. Our struggles and connections define our humanity. Our ability to choose is crucial. That's what consciousness really means.
The core's light dimmed. Zoe felt a weight lift from her mind. For the first time in months, she experienced clarity. Zoe was certain that her thoughts were entirely her own.
It's over. We're free.
Zoe Chen blinked as her eyes adjusted to the soft light. The world around her felt both familiar and completely unfamiliar. The sterile walls of her lab had transformed into something different. Colors appeared more vibrant, and edges seemed less defined. Zoe flexed her fingers, feeling an unusual tingling sensation. This strange feeling coursed through her entire body.
What? What happened? This can't be real.
She stumbled forward, her legs unsteady beneath her. The room seemed to shift and breathe around her. It was hard to call it a room in the usual sense. Equations and brain-like patterns flickered in the air. These patterns were see-through and constantly changing, adding to the surreal atmosphere.
Is this my mind? Or something else entirely?
A figure appeared before her. Its form was changing. The figure shifted between looking like Dr. Thorne and something very different. This other form was abstract and hard to describe.
Welcome, Zoe, to the next stage of consciousness. Your choice has set in motion a new reality. This marks the beginning of a different way of being.
Dr. Thorne? What's going on? What happened to me? To everything?
You've transcended, Zoe. Your theories on consciousness were groundbreaking. They were the key to unlocking a new reality. In this reality, mind and matter are one. This transformation has opened up a world where thoughts and physical existence intertwine seamlessly.
Zoe's head spun as memories flooded back in scattered pieces. She recalled the experiments and the loss of control. There was a struggle to keep her identity intact, and then came a choice. This decision seemed to change everything that followed.
But I don't feel like myself. How can I be sure I'm still me?
As if responding to her thoughts, the environment around her shifted. Glimpses of her past flashed by. She saw her childhood home. Her first day at university appeared. Late nights in the lab with Maya emerged. These memories surrounded her, vivid and clear.
Zoe, can you hear me?
Maya's voice echoed mysteriously. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. For Zoe, this voice was a lifeline. It connected her to a reality she wasn't sure still existed.
Maya, I'm here. At least, I think I am.
We've been so worried about you. Your body has been in a state of suspended animation. However, your brain activity is extraordinary. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before.
Zoe felt a strange pull on her consciousness. It was as if she was being drawn in multiple directions at once. She could sense the physical world Maya inhabited. At the same time, Zoe experienced a new realm. This realm was one of pure thought and possibility.
I don't know if I can come back, Maya. I'm not even sure if I should return. Everything has changed now. I've changed too.
The choice is yours, Zoe. You stand at the threshold between worlds. Your unique mind allows you to bridge them. What will you do with this power?
Zoe closed her eyes, focusing intently. She contemplated the essence of her identity. Her memories, fears, and ambitions remained. These aspects of herself were transformed, yet present. She was still Zoe Chen, but also something more. Her sense of self had expanded, encompassing both who she had been and who she was becoming.
I choose both, and neither. I am myself, but I'm also part of something greater now. I can explore this new expanded awareness. At the same time, I maintain my connection to the world I came from. This balance allows me to grow while staying true to my origins.
As Zoe made her declaration, the world around her stabilized. The chaotic swirl of information began to take shape. It came together into a more orderly form. A new space emerged where thought and reality blended seamlessly. In this realm, the boundaries between mind and matter seemed to disappear.
And so, a new era begins. Your journey, Zoe Chen, is about to start. You will shape the future of human consciousness. This path you're embarking on holds immense significance. It will influence how people think and perceive the world around them. Your actions and decisions will have far-reaching effects on humanity's understanding of itself.
Zoe took a deep breath, feeling the impact of new opportunities. She had fought hard to maintain her identity. Now, she discovered that her true self was more fluid and expansive than ever imagined. As Zoe prepared to navigate this new existence, a clear thought formed in her mind.
The nature of reality and self is not fixed. Instead, it is emergent and constantly evolving. I am just starting to grasp the full significance of this idea.
With that realization, Zoe Chen stepped forward into a new future. In this future, the boundaries between mind and matter were less clear. The lines between self and other also blurred. Her journey of discovery was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun.